there, fellow marketers. Professor Wolters here, and today we're going to talk about the marketing research process. And I've got a lot of other videos that go more in depth into some of these parts, so do check out the videos on primary research and secondary research and qualitative stuff. This is just giving you the overall feel of a kind of typical research process. And the first step in a research process is really defining the objectives and research needs. Basically, why the hell am I doing this research? You gotta know these things. What's our overall objective? What problem am I going to be trying to solve with this research? We've got to figure that thing out first, okay? Because you don't want to do research on nothing or nothing that's important. You don't want to be like, why am I doing this? Why am I asking these questions? Why are we here? No. We're here to figure out A, B, and C. You want to make sure you define that objective when you start off. That's the first step. Now, the second step is once you have your overall objective, what we want to do, like, hey, we want to do research to find out how to sell more hamburgers. All right, that's our goal. That's our objective. We're there. We move on to the second step, designing the research. This is where we look at the type of data we're going to collect, how we're going to collect it, what's the best way to collect it, and this kind of stuff. So here we're looking at this, am I going to go out and collect this data? Am I going to ask these questions, or in the primary data kind of sense? Or are we going to use secondary data, get things that have already been collected from other organizations like Nielsen or something like that? I mean, what are we going to do? But you got to design it. It's kind of like this isn't the information I need to know in order to know what we need to do in order to sell more hamburgers, because that's what our research is about, right? Now, our third step is our data collection process. This is when we head out into the field. Well, not the cornfields there, but we head out, oh, it could be, but this is when we go out in the fields, we start asking those questions. We start collecting all that information, right? It could be we're going out there and doing surveys. You know, how many of you have a survey in your class, in your ISIS forums where I teach or other places where you go and you say, did my professor do well? 5, yes. And the class was good, yes. And they do that. That survey is letting them know if things are going right? They're collecting that data that way. A census, when they do the census, they're asking all these questions like, look, let's go out. Like they have it where they send out surveys to people's houses, or you can go online. And if you don't do that, they come to your house. This is where you're laying out that data collection process. So like I said, with the census, first they send you, a thing in the mail saying, hey, go to this website. They give you a reminder, hey, then there's another, do this, or we're going to come to your house, and then the fourth time they come to your house or something like that. You have the process you kind of lay out there, okay? And there's a lot of different collection methods. Watch those videos that talk about that to really, really help you out. And then once you collect all this data, now we got to analyze. I mean, think about it. All that information that your phone gives to Facebook and Instagram and Google and all this kind of stuff, they have all that information, but the thing is, it's just this data sitting there. We need to take that data, we need to transform it really into information that we can use. And that's what happens in this fourth stage. Analyze the data and develop insights. So figuring out what those things are, right? We collect all of them, we got to mine down, and then what does it mean? What does it show us? And what we start to see is when we start looking at this data, we're like, the numbers show that people don't eat Big Macs, because our numbers show that no one's eating Big Macs. But then when we talk to people, they say, oh yeah, I like Big Macs. So we see there's an issue. We see people like Big Macs, but they're not ordering it. So one of our issues is there's a disconnect between what people are saying and what they are doing, right? And so the data told us that, right? And so once we get that data, then we go into the fifth step. That is your action plan and implementation. Here's where we lay out what we need to do to fix those things. If I want to fix those burger sales, we see that the real issue was that people are saying they're ordering, but they aren't actually ordering it. So what do we do? How do we get them over? Oh, well, our plan is offer an extra big burger or offer a buy one, get one free for the burger, so people actually do buy the burger instead of the chicken nuggets or the chicken sandwich or something like that, right? And so we kind of look at those things. And so you have this step-by-step process, and it's a really good idea just to have this overall idea so you know that you're making sure that I want to make sure that I'm collecting the right data and asking the right questions to answer the right overall objective. We want to find the answer to that so we can figure out how to fix it. So, because at the end, we got a strategy to meet that objective. Okay, so I hope this helps you out. If you want to learn more, we got plenty of videos on marketing research. This is just a quick little one to give you an overall idea of how a marketing research process works. So, I'll see you later.